We live? Oh, yes, we are now live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mo, founder here at SkillHat, and today we are here for the masterclass Break into Cybersecurity Without Coding. How to get into a no-code role in one of the highest in-demand areas in the world. Today we're going to learn all about cybersecurity. Now, I want to confirm that I'm live on all platforms. So before I engage you guys, I will take a few seconds to go live on Instagram. Okay, let's go live on Instagram. We're broadcasting today with an app called StreamYard. It allows us to go live on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, all at the same time. So I see we have some familiar faces and names in the chat already. But for everyone who's here, please let me know, what is your location? Let's start with location. Where are you calling in from? I see Jared Jackson calling from Atlanta, Erica from Indianapolis. Fantastic. I always love these master classes because we always have people from all walks of life from everywhere in the world. So I see Randy from Randolph Marks. I'm not sure if that's the location or that's your name. Hafsat's from Canada, Sonia from Texas. I'm going to be in Texas May. I won't give you the date yet, but the month of May, I will be in Texas presenting at a really important event. I will invite you all to that event. Ngogo from Edmonton, Toby from Nigeria, Randy from Atlanta. There we go. Where are you located from? So I am personally in Toronto, Canada. That's my location. Jason from New York. Man, this is incredible. People from everywhere across the world. Now, the next thing I want to learn is, what is your current role? What do you currently do for a living right now? Just let me know. So I am currently founder at SkillHat. Day-to-day, what do? I run our security team, our marketing team, sales team as a CEO, founder. A very dynamic job. In the mornings, I'm probably running a meeting with finance to look at the numbers. In the afternoon, I might be doing a sales call with a partner. Mid-afternoon, I might be taking a business partner to lunch to close a deal. And evening, I might be teaching a technical class. So I love my day-to-day job. I love working in tech. I get to work remotely. So it's been interesting. But let's see what we got in the chat. We have Randy says unemployed, trying to get into cybersecurity. Well, you are in the right place. Toby says workforce analyst. Got you. Got you. Sonia says contract specialist and business analyst. Sounds great. Erica says accountant. Okay. Let's see. Danny, if Danny can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, Danny. I can see you. I'm not ready to bring you on, but okay, you can hear me. Great. All right. Okay. I just want to know if you can hear me. Don't worry. I'll bring you on. I'm going to take at least 10 minutes before I bring you on. So you have some time, Danny. Like, you have like 10 minutes. Jason Auditor. Okay. All right. Once again, if you're just joining, welcome. Today, this is the masterclass, how to break into cybersecurity, even if you have no tech background, okay? And in a role that doesn't require you to be highly technical in code. So next thing I want to test is my screen share, okay? So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'll let you guys know when it's sharing. So just give me a second here. Okay, I'm now sharing my screen. Now, if you can see my screen, just type screen in the chat. If you can see my screen, type screen in the chat for me, please. Okay. And there is a lag between when I say something and when you will hear. So that's more for me to be aware of. But I see Erica says she can see my screen. Fantastic. Okay. And the last question I want to ask to everyone in the room is, what is your favorite dessert? What is your favorite dessert or meal? It could be a dessert or a snack or a meal. What is your favorite? Mine is Nigerian puff puff. I always say it, Nigerian puff puff. It's like really good. It's not a donut. It's way better than a donut. And every time I say I'm going to eat one or two, I end up eating like 10 or 15 because it's so good. That's my favorite dessert. So how about y'all? What are your favorite desserts? Sonia says ice cream. We got cheesecake. We got all sorts. We have pizza. Yes, love me some pizza. My son had his first slice of pizza recently at 2 years old. Pop, really? I love pop, but not my favorite, but I like it a lot. Okay, I think Danny's all set. We're going to get Danny on in a few minutes. So with that being said, what are we learning today? Listen, guys, you're going to learn so much today, so I want you to lock in and pay attention. And also, I want to say thank you for being here once again. Today, We're going to get a lot of insight and practical steps to start a journey in cybersecurity, specifically cybersecurity GRC, a clear picture of the day-to-day tasks and responsibilities you will do, and how to transfer those skills. And also, you're going to learn some actual skills today you can use in your job if you are a GRC specialist. And then we're going to break down different types of GRC roles that you can land and are attainable without a coding or tech background. A bit more about who we are at SkillHat, who's presenting this. So we are a training and staffing company. We're based in Toronto, Canada, and Houston, Texas. We have teams across US, Canada, and Europe. We train people who are really motivated in tech skills and put them in tech jobs. So you belong here if you want to pivot, transition, and grow with a mentor by your side. You belong here if you want to transition into tech strategy or management, or you're a newcomer to US and Canada, or you want to get certified, or you're a new grad. Now, if you're here, you're probably in one of these categories. The first is those who are feeling stuck. Are you feeling stuck? If you're here, it might mean that you may be feeling stuck in a role that doesn't really excite you. You want to get into a six-figure career that pays $100,000 a year or more, and you want to get it done in a way that's not painful, does not disrupt your existing schedule, and is super enjoyable, because you want to enjoy the process, right? Now, if that's you, put me in the chat. If that's you, you feel stuck, this is your goal, type me in the chat if that's you. That's the first category. Now, the second category is people who may not be feeling stuck, but you're seeing that there's a huge shift happening in the industry right now. Technology, specifically AI, and as a result, cybersecurity is changing the direction of business today. And you don't want to just fall behind and watch on the sidelines and be led. You want to actually lead this change. You want to lead the implementation of AI in businesses, and also implementing secure technology that allows businesses to stay protected. If that's you, put lead in the chat, LEAD. You want to lead projects, you want to lead technology innovation, you want to lead security teams. Put lead or leader in the chat if that's you. Okay. All right. That's second category. Now, a lot of us are on the journey. Okay. A lot of the people in the room are already in the SkillHat programs. You are already in the cybersecurity program right now, or maybe you're in a project management program or product management or UX design. You're on a journey, but you have some self-doubt. You're wondering, can I actually do it? Is this possible? Right? Because the answer is yes and no. If you believe it, you can achieve it. We'll make it happen. And if you don't, then it's not going to happen. You have to faith it till you make it. Not fake it, faith it till you make it. And I can tell you that this is possible because we've helped a lot of our alumni at SkillHat make incredible transitions into high-paying roles. We've helped people go into six-figure roles from domains with zero coding knowledge and zero tech background, right? We've seen people go from making $40K a year to $100K a year. We've helped folks go from being Uber drivers to now being product managers. We've helped people go from customer success managers to being customer service reps. We've helped people go from being accountants to cybersecurity program managers. And I want to help you do the same today. So does this sound familiar though? This was my reality. Waking up every day, dreading the thought of going into work, feeling stuck, and just bored of day to day. Because I hear this a lot from three specific kinds of people: accountants, customer service workers, and healthcare workers. They always tell me, hey, Mo, I'm burnt out. My work is boring. I don't want to just keep working more hours because I'm working a lot, especially nurses, right? A lot of nurses work like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 12-hour days. And they're like, I'm making money, but I can't even spend time with my family. I can't even enjoy the money. How can I go from working 60 hours a week to make 100K to working 30 hours a week to making even more than 100K, right? How can I make my time worth more? We're going to learn a lot of that today. And I know the feeling. Right now, I make multi six figures, by the grace of God, every year. But I was not always like that. Before I found my true calling in tech, I was working dead-end jobs. I was really feeling very unfulfilled, unchallenged, stressed, and I hated my situation. But breaking into tech helped me find joy in my work, making over six figures, working remotely all over the world, and leading an incredible team that's building incredible things. And so we want to help you make that kind of transformation today, because nobody should have to sacrifice their dreams, their well-being, or financial security. You deserve it all, and yes, you can have it all. So let's talk about how we can get it all. Today, we're going to cover a few things. One, the big career opportunity in cybersecurity. 2, we're going to deep dive into what's called cybersecurity GRC. And that means governance, risk, and compliance. We're going to look at the common roles in the GRC space and understand each different one, what they mean. We're going to get some real world examples from our instructor, Danny. I see my man Randy in the chat says, I'm tired of working in the warehouses driving a forklift. I completely understand, brother. And we're going to help you figure out what's next and the opportunities. A little bit of education can take you a long way, right? And what you're going to do in these roles. And so we're going to talk about certifications as well and how to actually make that transition from where you are to where you want to go. Now, this today is for business professionals who want to pivot into tech and cybersecurity, or those who are already in the cybersecurity space but want to land their next big opportunity. If that sounds like you, you are in the right place. So here's the survey we got. There's a WhatsApp group. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, you're missing out because we're going to be sharing a lot of knowledge in that WhatsApp group. In this WhatsApp group of people who are joining this event today, we asked the survey to say, what is your current biggest challenge with breaking into cybersecurity? Most people said the same thing. I don't have a tech background. The second most popular thing is I'm overwhelmed with all certifications. The next was, I don't even know what roles I qualify for, and I'm not even sure how to get the experience. And then one more just said, I apply, but I haven't got interviews. These are all challenges that you can expect. But the overwhelming big challenge is people feel like without a tech background, you cannot make it. And the truth is, you do have to build that tech background, but you don't have to come with it. First of all, no one's born with a tech background. And the skills you need to build that background is very minimal. And we're going to cover a lot of that today. So you do need to learn the skills, but you don't have to have a 4-year degree in computer science or a master's in cybersecurity. All you need is a very, very focused boot camp with the right instructors and the right team who can teach you the exact skills that are in incredible demand. Listen, cybersecurity is the highest in demand role in the world, only after 2 roles, nursing and data science. A lot of us here don't want to be nurses. In fact, a lot of us here are actually nurses who are saying, get me out of this. And that's understandable. In fact, our next webinar is actually how to get away from bedside nursing into the business side of healthcare, but that's a different event. The second is data science and AI. We all need to learn AI anyway. So what's the next thing that you can invest in and invest your time, invest your skills? I would say it is cybersecurity based on the data. And we're going to break that down. So today, all these challenges that you all have are going to be debunked and removed. Amen. Hallelujah. And so you might be wondering, who even is this Mo guy? I got to know you guys. I got to know Randy in the chat. What's up, my man Chooks? How you doing, my man? Yes, this is being recorded. You will be able to watch this after. So my name is Mo. I'm a Nigerian Canadian tech entrepreneur. I worked in tech for a lot of different top tech startups. I work with Microsoft. I work with City of Toronto, MasterCard as a product manager. But my story kicked off with me failing. I actually failed my role model, who was my dad, because when I came to Canada, he sent me to school at 16 years old. And when I came to Canada, I wanted to study commerce because I thought, hey, I want to be a big business mogul like Diddy. Back then, he was my role model, Diddy, but not anymore, right, with the whole scandal. But I didn't do too well because I was in accounting and commerce, which was, I didn't want to be the guy doing the books for the innovators. I wanted to be the innovator who was building software and building things and building businesses people loved. And so I switched from commerce to IT, and my life just went around. And I knew I wanted to get into tech and IT because I loved video games, rap music, social media, YouTube. I found out that there was a whole business side of the technology that these things were built off of. And so I learned about web development, design, University of Toronto, security, project management. Now, at the time, we spent $20,000 a year for my university education, over $100,000 for that education. The truth is, today, everyone can spend that time and money. This is why I went back and built a program that enables anyone break into tech and find success like I did. Because right after school, I started working as a project manager, doing a lot of projects in security, in web development and design. And at the age of 26, I became a VP in $100 million company. This is me on stage at 26 years old. I used to speak at all these events across the world. This is for the Nigerian government. They called me to an event. I used to fly around, talking about technology, talking about what we were building for universities as far as the software we were building. At the age of 29, I became a VP in a $100 billion company. And I just kept growing. So I knew how to play the corporate game. But I realized that my friends were broke. Even though I was soaring, those who were beside me were not being as successful. And so I started Skill Hat with our team to help people break into tech. The Black community, women, immigrants, the underserved people of color, to go from where they are to where they want to be. We've had incredible, incredible success. These faces on the screen, Ade, Ankit, Shade, Abiola, these people all came into the Skill Hat community, making 40K, 50K, 60K. Now Shade makes 300K a year just by taking 2 of our programs in business analysis and project management and working with our coaches. Any company you want to interview at, TD Bank, Amazon, Spotify, Microsoft, Deloitte Consulting, we have alumni at all these companies who've taken our programs and are successful. And that is one of the big benefits with Skill Hat, is the community, thriving community. I'm going to play a really cool success story because I want to build our conviction here. You will never attempt anything beyond your own self-image, okay? And I want us to have clarity on what others have achieved to motivate ourselves. I see my man Randy in the chat says he's bored of being, or tired of working in the warehouse as a forklift driver. I want you, Randy, to see people who are just like you, young professionals who came to a webinar just like this, took initiative to to join our program and change their lives. I'm going to play one video, show you some more success stories to build your conviction, and then we're going to get right into technical stuff. Okay, so let's watch today's story together real quick. It's about 30 seconds. Let's see if you can watch this one. Let's click copy link. Let's go.
$30,000 a year to now making over $30,000 a month.
So yes, that figure is accurate, maybe a little bit more. I'm where I am today because of the program. Right after we finished the program with Skill Hat, they helped me with like my resume prep, job prep. I just be like, okay, well, I'm going to the market, right? I got a lot of interviews and eventually I got an offer. A month after the program, I got an offer, came to tech. Like, remember, I have no tech experience. I don't.
Yeah. That she went.
I really just love that video just because you can see how excited she is and you can hear some of the numbers where she's talking about them herself. I hope y'all could hear that. She went from making 30K a year to 30K a month, now working as a contractor, IT business analyst, and an IT project manager. Interesting enough, she's now also started to transition to security, doing some security projects. She's also enrolled in the GRC program that we're going to be talking about today. Another success story. Listen, if anyone knows anything about lawyers, we know lawyers are not tech savvy people. They love looking at documents, looking at policy. But there's a space for everybody in cybersecurity. This is a lady called Ubong, who was mentored by the instructor in our program, Eddie. So this is Ubong, who is a lawyer, an attorney. She went from being a lawyer to now being a security professional working with our instructor as well. Just wanted to show you another story. This first was a customer success rep who is now a senior BA and project manager. This is a lawyer. If a lawyer can do it, you can do it too. Here's another one from Yashika. They're all ladies, interesting enough. Women are really thriving at Skill Hat. Yashika, they said if you come to Canada and you have a strong Indian accent, that you cannot become a leader. Well, she proved them wrong. She went from working as an insurance advisor, making 50K a year, to now landing her first job as a project control officer with TD through us, and now working as a senior project manager, scrum master with RBC Bank. If she can do it, you can do it too. Here's another incredible story. Curtis, when I met Curtis, he was a plumber, okay? We have a forklift driver in the room. If a plumber can do it, break into tech now. Curtis, he is now a 6-figure project manager working at Hertz. Hertz is one of the top car rental companies across the world. Listen, man, if he can do it, you can do it too. Let's watch Curtis's story. Curtis. He was actually a plumber, but he wanted to become a project manager. So he took our program, and here's his amazing testimonial.
The last thing that Mo mentioned in the last class, it was a career coaching class. You said, apply for something your expertise. What was I good at? Where am I a domain expert in? That's why I wanted to start. I wanted to land a full-time PM role. I utilized the tools you provided in the Google Drive. Simple as that. After we completed the course, I went through every document, everything you provided to us. Throughout our journey, I utilized the template and I mimicked that template for my resume. I feel really good where I'm in life right now. I'm in a good headspace. As I mentioned earlier, I have a work-life balance. I'm able to put my kids on the school bus in the morning. I'm able to go walking at the park with my wife before I start work in the morning. I don't sit in traffic anymore. I literally have a home office now.
If you're saying to yourself, wow, incredible story. Like, it's not just about him going from making 40, 50, 60K a year to now making over 100K, but the intangibles. One, he said, I can now spend time in the morning with my daughters, put them in the school bus because I now work remote. Two, I don't sit in traffic anymore. I can work from anywhere from home. I'm saving hours. Three, I have a home office now. I feel so much more confident. I'm so much in a much happier place. This is huge. This is the type of transformation that we want for you. And so if you believe that your transformation is up next and you are going to double your income, I want you to type in the chat, I believe. I want you to believe it. Imagine yourself in that role that you want. Cybersecurity professional, six-figure tech professional. Imagine that right now and type in the chat, I believe. Okay? All right. Now, thank you all for your chats. Thank you all for your comments in the chat. Now, there's three kinds of people that we're going to see in this room today. Shout out to Randy, says, I believe. All right. Erica and Gogo, I believe. I strongly believe. I like that. That's fantastic. Festus, JW. I see your questions, JW. I'm going to come to them. Don't worry. I'm not ignoring you. I got you. You're going to get a response shortly. Now, we have three kinds of people in the room. Number one, some will listen and do nothing. Maybe it's not a fit for you. Maybe it's not the right time. Totally fine. The second group is some will listen and take action and achieve their goals on their own. These are brilliant people who can go to YouTube and figure this stuff out on their own, right? Learn on free courses, watch videos online, learn through TikTok, and then create the resume and apply for jobs. I love people like this. You can get this done as well. Everything we're showing today, you can do by yourself. This is free game. This is a free masterclass. The third is those who want to get it done quicker, with structure, faster, with coaching and community. People who don't want to waste any time, who are ready to invest in themselves, invest the time and the effort in themselves to work with experts. This is who I want to work with. People who want to shortcut the long process and get it done effectively in a fun way with the right coaches. And we're here to help you do that. Now, as we get into it, my advice to you is remove all distraction and start applying what you learn in 24 hours. There's a rule called the law of diminishing intent. The law of diminishing intent, which means the longer you wait to take action, the less likely you can actually take the action. And so whatever you learn, start applying it in 24 hours. And of course, take notes and stay till the end. Okay? Before I hand it to my colleague, Danny, I'm not sure if Danny's in the room yet. In 2025, if you're still putting proficient in Microsoft Office on your resume, you're cooked. That's like saying I have a pulse, okay? Upgrade your skills or watch the world move on without you. I thought this was quite interesting. So now with that being said, I'm going to pass to my colleague, Danny. Danny is your, can we do a sound check real quick? Let's say a few words, Danny.
Can you hear me, Mo?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly. Can you hear us?
Hello? Yeah, perfectly.
Fantastic.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
So nice to be here. I'm really excited about your future going forward here, and hopefully Mo and I can basically whet your appetite towards making that big move towards one of the most lucrative domains of cybersecurity, which is GRC.
Sounds good. So I see people asking about like cost and details. Just be patient. You need to understand what exactly our program is first. You need to take your time to understand what is GRC, what are you getting into, how does it work, how long, what are the timelines, and then what are the opportunities, and we're going to talk about all the costs and pricing later. So please be patient. Appreciate it. So Danny, over to you. I will move the slides. Just let me know. I'll be your hands. Just let me know. Move forward, move backwards, and I got you. Okay, brother?
Okay, thank you so much, Mo. Really appreciate that.
All right.
So,
Let me
folks,
know
really,
if you want to just introduce yourself to the room, and I'll pass it to you over there.
sure. I'm Danny Anyag. I'm based here in Toronto, Canada. I'm a Chief Information Security Officer and a Senior Vice President for the Cybersecurity and CTO also of the same company, which is an AI company that's based in Burlington. I ran my own practice in terms of cybersecurity GRC. And what we will be showing you if you do decide to go into this program are the things that consultants do in terms of implementing GRC in that space. I have a doctoral degree and a master's degree in information technology, as well as right now, I believe I've been teaching for about 2 decades. Currently, I'm connected with the University of Toronto and Trent University, teaching GRC and penetration testing. I'm also a certified ethical hacker. If that's something that kind of strike your fancy, we can basically teach you that as well. So I've been in the cybersecurity space for more than a decade now, and I'm happy to actually transfer my skills to you.
Fantastic. All right. Let me know whenever you want me to move to the next slide or whatever you'd like us to do, Danny.
Oh, sure. All right. So what I have here, when Mo asked me to kind of just give you a 30,000 feet overview of what GRC is, like I said, GRC is one of the many domains of cybersecurity. And GRC really stands for governance, risk, and compliance. So it is essentially the strategy that organizations basically use to achieve their objectives. That's the governance side, right? As well as to address whatever uncertainty that they may have, either cyber threats, financial threats, operational threats. That's the risk management portion of the GRC. And of course, the compliance side, ensuring that the company is acting with integrity, right? So think of it as I always want to come up with an analogy in order to kind of impress upon a certain concept. So if you've noticed, some of the icons that I've used here basically is related to cars, right? So imagine running a business like driving a car. So governance is the steering wheel and the GPS, wherein, of course, you know that, they set the direction and rules on how you will drive. The risk management portion is, of course, the defensive driving, where you constantly watch for hazards on the road, right? So the hazards could equivocate to cyber threats
It seems we're getting some sound delay from Danny.
and of course responding to is basically ensuring that the car follows the speed limit, right? The traffic. No?
All right, Danny, we were hearing you really, really well
No?
until a few seconds ago, where when you were talking about risk management, we lost you, but now we can see you again. We can
Cars?
hear you again. Why don't we
Okay.
try again?
All right. Sure, sure. So basically, the second component of the GRC is the risk management, right? So basically, risk management is basically where the company is identifying the uncertainties in their business, right? It's about asking what could go wrong, right? And the third one, which is the compliance, is basically you're acting with integrity. So let me come up with an analogy just to drive home the point. With GRC, imagine you're driving a car, right? So if you're driving a car and the car basically is the business that you're running, governance is the steering wheel and the GPS of the car, because that is the one that sets the direction and the rules for how you drive. The risk management portion is the defensive driving, if you will, right? Where you're constantly watching for hazards on the road, like, I don't know, cyber threats or market risks. And of course, responding to avoid crashes. The compliance side is following the speed limit and the traffic laws, making sure you meet external requirements. So if you ignore any one of these, you could crash the business or get a ticket, right? Or a penalty, if you will.
Interesting metaphor.
So, right. So next slide, my friend, please. Thank you.
All right.
So these are the common roles that you would see in a GRC space. On the second column, there are titles that you normally put in LinkedIn or Indeed or Glassdoor when you're looking for GRC related openings. So if you're thinking about shifting into a GRC role, here's the key takeaway that I would like to impress upon this slide. I'm not going to go through each one of the rows here. I mean, it's self-explanatory. But what I'm trying to prove here is that GRC is not just for technical people, right? It's great for communicators, great for problem solvers, and big picture thinkers. So whether you're from HR or you're from IT or finance or operations, right? There's a GRC role where your background adds value, and many of these roles pay well, as well as offer remote flexibility and have real impact on the business, right? Unfortunately, I'm supposed to actually show you one particular link that I got just now on Indeed, and it's a GRC analyst role position um, that is for OmniWorks company, and it's paying basically from 89,000 to $122,000. That's basically the salary range as a GRC analyst. Later on, I'm going to show you more postings that is fresh off the plate. It was only posted this morning as we go through the different slides, so you have an idea of what's out there. Next slide, my friend.
Danny, just real quick, before we move on to the next slide, you can hear me, right, Danny?
Sure.
Can we maybe just break this down? I know
Loud
it
and
might
clear.
be explanatory to you, but for some folks in the audience, it's actually not. If you can maybe just identify, what is like, how do I know if I want to be governance focused versus risk focused, compliance focused? Maybe just explain for another 5 minutes, high level what these really mean and
Sure.
how we think about it as newcomers into cybersecurity.
Sure. So basically, the first role that you see there, governance focus, basically these are in the managerial side of things. They are the senior management or the senior leadership team. Most of the titles that you see there has the word governance, right? GRC manager, GRC director, or IT governance. And what they do really is to set the policy by which the company is going to abide by. So for instance, one of the things that you could put in place would be, are we going to allow BYOD or bring your own device to the company? For security reason, if we're going to allow that, what will be the rules? What will be the technical controls to ensure that whoever brings their own device does not introduce any threat into the ecosystem of the company? So as a GRC or a governance analyst, your role would be to come up with laws of the company that every employee has to follow. So if you're in that space wherein you like to see the whole ecosystem and look at the policy that needs to be put in place to secure the crown jewel of the company, if you will, right? Making sure that it aligns with the overall business objective. That's basically the governance focus side of GRC. And these are the titles that you can apply with, and you definitely are eligible to apply to this particular titles once you've completed this program. For those that like numbers, or for those that like trying to, I've basically overheard a good friend of mine that says one of the greatest motto that he likes is that if everything is going right, something must be wrong, right? So if you're the kind of person who's always paranoid about, okay, this is too good to be true, I want to proactively put in place policy to ensure that any threats, any exploits do not happen, right? So you're constantly trying to assess what are the threat vectors. How will the hackers get into our system? Who are the hackers in the first place? And by identifying that, by assessing those risks, we'll be able to come up with different controls. Are we going to put in place encryption? Are we going to put in place biometric scanner for those that enters the data center? So those are the job of the risk auditors, or the risk assessment auditors, if you will. The third part there is the compliance focus, right? So a lot of companies nowadays, they're trying to pitch for the same customer. So for instance, let me give you an example. So Azure, which is a cloud provider, and AWS from Amazon, also a cloud provider. What they offer to the clients will be, hey, we are willing to host your data and application on the cloud, and we guarantee that we're going to make it safe, that there will be data privacy controls in place so that hackers cannot easily get your profile, if you will. But without certain certifications that are placed on their website, like for instance, this company is ISO 27001 compliant, or this company is SOC 2 compliant, most of the customers or potential customers will not be convinced that they have enough controls in place to safeguard their data. So a lot of companies would like to be ISO 27001 compliant, SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA compliant. And when companies want to be compliant in a certain cybersecurity framework, such as those things that I've just mentioned, the GRC analysts are the ones that are hired in order to handhold them into being a compliant company. And
so you're talking about
all of the-
compliance and getting certified in the way where, for example, if you wanted to get a certain job and they're going to ask just for a high school degree, like you might be able to do the job, but they want to see your degree, right? Just to show you are certified. It's the same way businesses need to become certified to be able to access certain other privileges, correct?
Correct. That is correct. So when you apply to be this compliance officer in order to help a company be compliant in a certain framework like ISO 27001, even if you're just a high school graduate, you can already apply to that. Even if you're not in the cybersecurity space, you can also apply to that, granted that you have a GRC background or training, if you will. And of course, getting certified in some of these frameworks that I've just mentioned helps, but it's just optional. I just hired 2 GRC analysts for our company that doesn't have any certifications, because we call them green bean. They're fresh out of college, right? And these guys are already earning 80 to 85,000 for their first job out of college, and that's basically a testament to this particular space as being high paying.
Can we just talk about that for a little bit, just to
Sure.
deviate and keep it dynamic? So you just hired a few guys to your team as GRC analysts. So you're actually a hiring manager, on just for the audience to know. So now you're listening to the person who actually hires for this role. Can you tell us more about the entry level roles? Why did you hire these entry level guys, and how can other people position themselves to be hired entry level like these other guys did? Like, what was it about these people that made you hire them, and how can the audience position themselves to be hired by someone like you in GRC?
Right. So when you go to a specific program offered by any particular training institution, right, they provide you with the basic fundamentals of what GRC skills should have, GRC analyst skills should have. And this includes basically the ability to write policy, the ability to conduct audit, the ability to assess the risk of a particular control, right? The reason why we hire green bean, first of all, basically they're in the lower end of the spectrum in terms of the salary range. But more importantly, you have to understand that GRC is a branch of cybersecurity. And for the most part, the tools that you're going to learn may not actually be the same tools that you're going to be using when you go to the company. Oftentimes, when a company hire a cybersecurity analyst or a GRC analyst, we're still going to train them with the tools that we have in the company. And so essentially what we're looking for when we hire them, on top of the fundamental skill set of a GRC, we're looking at the soft skills. Are they business minded? Are they risk averse? Do they have the leadership quality? Are they kind of resilient, in the face of multitasking operation? Because in cybersecurity, you can expect, long hours, but it's well worth it in terms of pay. So we find that those that are coming off, the program are those that are resilient. They really like to take on a lot of jobs, and we like those kind of dynamism, if you will, and those values that goes hand in hand for with a fresh grad.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So be resilient, be coachable, be willing to work hard, and just show up, right?
Exactly, and be like a sponge, right? Like I told you, I mean, some of the tools that you'll be using are basically things that are proprietary to our company, and so we don't expect you to know that, but we do expect you to have the gusto to learn new skills and new tools as you get onboarded.
Fantastic. So now I think we're talking about the audit focus roles.
Say that again. Sorry.
So I think is right now, are we going to talk about the audit focus roles, or have you already passed that one?
Not yet. The audit, I think when you say, okay, so the last one that you see, or second to the last one, is the audit focus roles, right? So as a compliance analyst, as a GRC analyst, as a governance analyst, and even on the risk side, what you'll be building are controls for the company to make them not vulnerable to a cyber attack. Now, when it comes the time wherein somebody has to validate what you put in place, right? You would need to be audit ready. So there are certain groups of GRC analysts called GRC auditors that's going to go to a company and then test whether the controls are appropriate, are enough, and determine whether they pass or fail. So you could be the doer, that's the first three lines, or you could be the tester that goes to a company and check whether what the GRC analyst on the other side did was correct or not, right? And of course, the last one that you see here is basically an amalgamation of, because you can see this mostly in startup companies, that because they don't have enough, budget, the GRC analyst actually takes on 2 or 3 or even 4 roles altogether. So you could be any one of this.
Before we finish on the slide, the question some folks are asking in the chat is, if I'm listening right now, see I'm an accountant like JW, right? Or I'm maybe a business analyst, or I'm even in sales like Daniel. How do I know which of these might be a fit for me?
So again, if you're in the sales, so mostly people that are in sales are really good with metrics, right? I think that will be on the risk assessment side. For those that are in the business management or psych background or administration, that will be on the governance focus side. For those that are accountants, okay, they're very good at auditing. That will be on the audit side of things, right? And yes, right. Go ahead, Mo.
No, I was just saying, God, please go ahead.
Yeah, and basically for those that are in between those roles, you could be on the compliance side as long as you have the background. Let's say one of the compliance framework is ISO 27001. Company would like to have that ISO 27001 certified badge honor in their website. So if you would like to be in that space, you would like to, after completing the GRC analyst program, you may also want to get certification as an ISO 27001 expert. Therefore, you're prime and ready to be working on that particular compliance space.
That sounds good. And just to finish up before we move on from the slide, if you're in the room and you're not 100% sure where you want to go, what you want to do first is book a call with me. So after this event, we're going to give you a link to book a one-on-one free call with me and my team where we can look at your background, right? I've seen Mary Jane talk about there's lawyers in the room, accountants who want to maybe get some skills in cybersecurity. We can assess your background and point you to where it's best. Now, the good thing is the Skill Hat GRC program that you're going to learn about will allow you to go into any of these roles. So don't worry too much. Right now, you just want to get into cybersecurity and GRC and learn the basics. And then you can then leverage your background to get into any of these roles with the right mentorship and the right positioning. Correct, Danny?
That is correct, Mo.
All right, let's go to the next slide.
So next slide, please. So this one, I would like to give you a glimpse of, so basically we're talking about GRC, right? GRC. So can you show us, Danny, some sort of a GRC in action? Okay, so picture this situation. So as you can see on the first one, you've got a case study here about that happened in 2021. Amazon got fined because they were not GDPR compliant. And they got fined by the European Union to a tune of 746 million euros, right? Specifically, the case stemmed from the fact that Amazon did not have enough data privacy controls, and they were found to be using those client data without the consent of the user in some of their targeted ads. These are compliance issues. These are lack of controls in terms of their governance. And so this is where GRC would come in. So exactly after they got slapped with this fine, Amazon went into a hiring spree of hiring 5 GRC analysts. And what the GRC analysts started working is to implement the ISO 27001 framework. And what it does is it builds a governance program that is centered towards data privacy, right? And they also implemented a risk assessment of all critical data, or crown jewel of Amazon, if you will, to ensure that no data will be leaked or be used without valid consent. And they also implement some policies, like for instance, client data now will be double encrypted. They will be encrypted when they are at rest in the database, and when they are being sent to another via email or being sent via the internet, it'll be encrypted in transit. And there's going to be a continuous monitoring and corrective actions as well. So this is what the GRC analysts, you guys in the future, will be doing. And as a result of that, what normally will take 2 years to implement ISO 27001, Amazon was able to be ISO 27001 compliant in just 6 months, which is unheard of. Normally, if you want to get certified in this framework, it takes about 2 years. But a lot of GRC analysts that they absorbed were really, rock stars, and they were able to implement all those 4. And one of the reasons they were able to move in fast pace, because they were able to use a lot of GRC automated tools like Zen GRC. These are things that we will teach you if you decide to actually work on our, apply in our program. And what this tool will do is it automates, without getting into the nitty-gritty of things, it automates a lot of the risk assessment, a lot of the control assessment, a lot of the auditing assessment, so that you don't have to do it manually. So let me give you an example. In order to be compliant with GDPR, you need to have 99 specific controls to be in place. With Zen GRC, it helps you to monitor which one of the 99 you already have, and it flags you which ones you don't have. And it tells you how to implement that. And sometimes through AI, it will automatically implement it themselves. So it makes it much easier to implement or get a company certified. And again, these are things that we can teach you in this program.
That sounds good.
Next
Before we
slide.
move on to the next slide, I just wanted to highlight that Amazon got fined 746 million euros. That is an incredible amount of money. And I'm sure that if they would have rather taken the route of hiring the professionals and paying them 100K, 150K, And now it'll cost them for a 1 year of work with maybe even a team of 5, only $500,000. But now they're
Exactly.
paying 746 million euros. That's incredible. And I say this just to let everyone in the room know that these companies need you more than you need them, right? They need professionals who understand the policy, the regulation, and understand how to enable them become secure. I mean, recently I was using Chat GPT and they were down for 10 minutes and I was so mad. I'm like, I need to get a report done. I have a meeting coming up, but it was just 10 minutes. And I thought to myself, this is crazy because if Chat GPT went down for 10 minutes, maybe just once a week, I would leave and go to a different AI app like Claude. So it just goes to show that these products, these large tech companies, banks, they are so fragile. One security hack, one fine could cripple a business. And 746 million euros is actually nothing for an Amazon. They might make that amount maybe every day. I don't know. But they would much rather save that money and hire you to help them stay protected. And there's millions of companies out there looking for those who want to protect them. I want to just highlight that for the group.
Mhm.
Okay. Danny, over to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next slide, please. Awesome. All right. Okay, so what I have here, folks, is some sort of a sneak peek in the day of a life of a GRC analyst, and this is basically
So we're getting some downtime from Danny's internet. We're getting some downtime from Danny's internet. We're getting some downtime from Danny's internet. Sorry about that, everyone. It's probably going to reload. We had this happen about 25 minutes ago. In a few seconds, it should be back up. But we're gonna get him back up again. But while Danny comes back, I just wanted to share what's on the slide. So first thing is early morning risk assessment, meaning that you're looking at third-party vendors. So any kind of tech company typically has what's called third-party vendors, which are other companies that they work with. An example is Uber. If you are wanting to become an Uber driver, for example, you have to upload your ID card into Uber, right? Now, Uber is going to verify this is a true identity card in order to ensure that they have true drivers, but they do that through a third-party vendor, right? Which is a security company that has an app and it's integrated into Uber. Uber might collect your payments through a third-party app like Stripe or Flutterwave or Visa. So every company has third parties who hold their own data. And so when you're a GRC analyst, say you work at Wells Fargo Bank or Citibank, you are consistently looking at the third parties you work with to ensure that they are staying secure, right? Looking at the risks that the company is being exposed to. It might be, for example, a new risk to a technology that we identified through a backdoor a new hackers found, or some AI risk, for example. Log those risks, write them down in what's called a risk register, right? And then put that together and prioritize the risk. So that's risk assessment. Then late morning might be policy work. Policy work involving maybe a policy means the rules and regulations of the organization. So not government policy, but the organization policy, right? So people are talking about the questions. We are going to address the questions, but we're going to do that at the end. So just let me be clear about that. We have a few questions in the chat. We're going through a presentation, so we can't stop and address questions all the time. I mean, we choose not to, but towards the end, we are going to spend at least 30 minutes maybe on all the questions. So JW and everyone else, we're not ignoring you. Appreciate your patience. Let's just let you know that we are going to answer your questions. Okay, so I'm seeing lots of fantastic questions, by the way. Again, we're not ignoring you. I'm loving the questions. We just want to get through some of the presentation and the material so that we don't keep going sidetracked and we keep your attention. Okay, so thank you again for all your great questions. We are going to answer every one of them. I'm seeing all these questions on the screen. Yes, Danny, are you back now?
Yeah, I'm back. So I decided to actually turn off my cam so that the streaming would be much more smooth Is that okay
That
for now?
sounds good. Yes, yes.
All
Let's
right.
go ahead with that.
Okay, so for this one, it is my attempt to kind of show you what it's going to be like in your day to day, probably in the first 2 years of you being a GRC analyst. All right. So in the early morning, normally what happens is that there's going to be um, an assignment from your cybersecurity manager asking you, hey, Mo, we need to onboard a vendor that is going to do our payroll. We want you to assess whether the software is going to introduce any vulnerability in our ecosystem. So what you're going to be doing there would be to assess the risk. So you'll be reviewing third-party cloud vendor. You're going to identify the risk that they pose to your ecosystem, and you would suggest the controls in order to mitigate those risks, if you will. And then probably in the late morning, you would be asked by your manager once again, hey, we're going to now adopt a BYOD, or bring your own device kind of work. And so that poses a lot of headache to a lot of IT and cybersecurity department, because they don't have control what's installed in any of those laptops and smartphones. So you're going to create a policy about the do's and don'ts. For instance, we are only going to allow laptops that has a minimum of Windows 11. So you're going to create what we call security policy. You're going to be drafting those policy, and once approved and endorsed, it's going to be the rule of the land. This is the best part of being a GRC analyst, because you get to craft the laws that everyone would have to follow all the way to the president, right? And this would also involve coordinating with different stakeholders of different business units. So your interpersonal skill, your team oriented skill set would have to play a role here. So for those people who are good project managers, good team leads, you are definitely going to be a rock star in this particular area. And so right after lunch, early afternoon, um, part and parcel of your job requirement is to help the company implement a compliance framework. In this example that I have, it's a SOX. It's no different from the ISO 27001. Only the difference with SOX is that it's mostly on the financial side of things. So if you are a banking institution or a retail, so these are compliance frameworks that the company would like to be certified for, and you're going to help them get certified in this compliance. So that would involve probably conducting a security incident analysis, or conducting an audit, if you will, in order to make sure that, hey, do we have enough encryption controls? Do we have enough backup? Can we restore our data within the next 4 hours if it gets corrupted, right? So those are the audit checkups you're going to be doing. And normally in the late afternoon, especially every Tuesday and Friday, what we do, this is what we call our 30 seconds of fame, wherein we tend to present to management what we have accomplished for the entire week, right? So the things that we have completed in terms of what are the risks that we identified, the new policy that we have implemented within the organization, and how are we doing in terms of getting the company get that certification that it needs. So pretty much this is like your daily routine. It's jam-packed. It is, a lot of work. You get to know a lot of things, both technical and business. But at the end of the day, you're helping the company, especially their clientele, be secured online. And at the same time, you're getting, of course, a very, very high paying job. So
Fantastic.
before
Thanks
I
for walking us through this,
move,
Danny. I want to just get a feel for if everyone got that. So, if you saw the day in the life that Danny presented, and you find this interesting, you think that this is work that you love to do, get paid, 6 figures a year to do these risk assessments, policy work, compliance audits, leadership meetings. Put I in the chat. Put letter I in the chat if that's you think you're interested in this, or just put interested in the chat. I just want to get a feel for the audience. If you got that, put an I in the chat, put interested in the chat, put interesting in the chat, just to confirm if you think this is a fit for you. Okay, I see Randy says, yeah, this is a fit for me. All right, for those of us who are in the room and definitely interested in doing work like this, we want to help you get there. Over to you, Danny.
Awesome. All right, just to sweeten up the pot even further, let me just show you what's in store for you when you get to this position, if you will. So I want you to focus your attention on the right panel first of the screen. What I have here is a list, a 2024 list from the Global Knowledge Survey of the top or the highest paying certification in all of IT, not just cybersecurity, but in all of IT. Where we're talking about cloud admins, data center admins, network admins, systems admins, the whole spectrum of IT. And what I want you to take note is that look at the top five. Look at the top five highest paying certification. The ones that I highlighted in orange bar or rectangle bar are GRC positions. These are GRC related positions. So the first one you see there, the CRISC, which pays a mean average of $127,000 US. The second one is the Certified Information Security Manager, which pays $122,000 US. And this is yearly. And the fifth one there that you see there, Certified Information Systems Auditor, that's $110,000 mean US dollars. Um, this only goes to show that number one, cybersecurity is the most profitable area of IT, full stop, right? And within cybersecurity, there are practically about 11 to 15 different domains. We call it domains, but different branches or areas or field of specialization. It shows in this survey that GRC from among those 15 domains is the highest paid domain within GRC. So if GRC is the top specialization in IT in terms of pay, GRC is the highest paying domain within GRC. Within cybersecurity. And so this exactly proves the point of what Mo was saying at the top of this presentation, and that is GRC is such there's a lot of demand, right, compared to who's available and who's ready to take on those roles at this point. Right now, I need to hire 3 more within my company, and it's going to just balloon going forward as we see the rise of AI, which equivocates to a lot of hacking, more exploits. We'll be needing more GRC in the long term. So if you look at the left side, so these are the top certification a GRC can have: CISA, CISM, CRISC. Again, you don't need to get certified. Certification is an optional thing. It is just used in order to move your position up the ladder. If you want to supercharge your career, because you've been a GRC analyst for the past 2 or 3 years, you want to go to the management level, having a certification will definitely boost your productivity, your marketability, and of course, your salary.
Awesome. So let me just ask a question. Why is it that these certifications and the GRC role, you just talked about how well it pays? Back in the day, we all thought that software developers were the ones who get paid the most, and developers are the ones who build the actual systems. Why is it that security professionals who protect the systems actually are now getting paid more than those who built the systems in the first place? I'd like to understand that.
Very good question, Mo. The culprit is one and only AI. Right now, you can develop code, a full-length application, enterprise application with AI. At this point, AI cannot automate what GRC analysts do. And that is the governance part, the risk assessment part, and the compliance part. Maybe 10 to 15 years down the road, wherein we will have a more sophisticated generative AI. But at this point, the reason why GRC, that area of cybersecurity, has outpaced software development in the past 3 to 5 years is because right now I'm teaching at the University of Toronto. Those that are coming in first year college or first year in university, they can already create advanced Python programming, meaning they just came out of high school and they're already advanced level Python programmers. How so? Because they know how to prompt engineer ChatGPT to generate the code, and they're just gonna plug and play that to the system, and it works. And so companies identifies and realizes that. And so a lot of people, a lot of companies have made it a point that they are not going to hire a lot of software developers, but what they're going to hire going forward in terms of development are those that are able to prompt engineer the code. But on the GRC side, you still need people, because this is engaging stakeholders, doing audit, manual audit, testing the evidence and the artifacts, which can only be done if you're talking to the subject matter experts going forward, and it cannot be automated at this point.
Got you. And so what I'm hearing is number one, first of all, like you said, the demand is so high because the stakes are so high. If these companies, which are $1 million, $1 billion companies, get it wrong, the fines are so hefty that they want to pay people who are able to secure them a lot to keep securing them and stay in the company. That's number one, correct?
Correct.
Number two is because of artificial intelligence, the advancement of threats keeps increasing, and also the advancement of technology and building can be automated. And so, but the role of a GRC professional in cybersecurity at this time requires people with significant interpersonal skills, who can think strategically and drive these programs and projects. And that is a skill set that AI cannot replace as of today, at least.
Exactly. Let me give you a funny story, Mo, if you don't mind. So one of the responsibilities of a GRC analyst is to create security policy, right? So for instance, when you onboard a new employee, right? So what are the things that that employee should undergo in terms of background check? And at the same time, when you put them in your system, whether or not they are given the right permission only and not so much that they can be a super user, right? Now, the GRC analyst is going to write a document called a security policy detailing this is the process, and these are the requirements, and these are what the managers should submit to IT in order to onboard their new hire within their department, right? So let's say
Mm,
you've drafted that policy, Mo, you're the writer, you're the GRC analyst. You would
mm,
have to present that to the change management board. You would
mm,
have to explain the rationale behind all of those new guidelines and rules. You would
mm,
have to be charismatic in a way to persuade them to implement a new lay of the land, new laws to be implemented. Right now, AI cannot do that. You
mm.
need a personal touch in order to convince senior management that what you are implementing and proposing makes sense. And that is why this particular role is still recession proof, probably in the next decade.
Fantastic. So if I wanted to invest in a recession-proof, high-growth career in the next 10 years, GRC is a fantastic option. Is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. Data analytics, programming, software dev, full stack engineer, these may be going away simply because of AI, but not GRC.
All right. I see you have some job descriptions here. One's paying between 97 and 122K. Let's talk about these.
Right. So these are, so when I gave you this PowerPoint slide mode last night, I just pulled it. And so these are fresh off the fresh off the plate. So the first one on the left side is from Origami, and this the position asked for a cybersecurity compliance analyst. Can you see that? Right.
Yes.
So as you can see, the job description is conducting compliance audit and assessment that falls under risk assessment and compliance, developing and updating compliance policy. That's what we talked about, writing security policy, training staff on compliance related issue, telling them, okay, how to spot a phishing email, stuff like that, and monitoring regulatory changes. So if there's new rule in the GDPR, it is the GRC analysts that should be advising the company on the new controls they need to implement. So
Mhm.
qualification, you have to have a training from a related field, experience in compliance, risk management, and strong analytical and communication skill. This is still open, right? If you go to the Origami Risk Compliance Analyst title, you would see this posting, and this is a high-paying job from 97 to 122,000 a year, depending on experience and uh, seniority, if you will. If you look at the right side, Mo, this one is the compliant, the officer side. So officer is higher than analyst. As you can see here, it's from 115 to $145,000, and this is a posting from Jupiter One. And again, if you look at all of the bullet items there, those are things that we just explained that you will normally do, right? A day in the life of a GRC analyst. So the numbers, tells the entire story. There's a big
Mhm.
demand, and the reason why they are offering this particular salary range is
Mhm.
that number one, they need to safeguard their data, and the GRC analysts are front and center on that. And secondly, there are not a lot. It's not a saturated market. There's not a lot of proficient, I would say, that GRC analysts out there that will, pass the smell test. And so if you decide to dive into this particular market, this particular field, definitely you won't regret this.
I love it. So for those in the room who are happy with any amount, within that range of between 97K and 145K, if that's you and you're saying, yes, I like the numbers, I like the day to day, put me in the chat. If you feel like, the numbers make sense for you as far as the income and the day to day, put me in the chat. Let's see who's in the room that feels this is for them. Okay. And while I get that feedback, Danny, thank you so much for your presentation so far. Really appreciate it. I see in the chat we have Erica, we have Hafsat, we have Randy. Let's make it happen for all of you in the chat. Danny, I know you will have to run shortly. There's some questions that the group have. I wanted you to take some questions because you are the expert. So
Please,
is it okay if I put up some questions for you? All right, so let's go.
please go ahead, Mo.
Let me find a question. Give me 1 second. So the first from JW, are most of these GRC roles remote or need to be in person? We can give a short answer there.
Most of them are hybrid. I wouldn't say mostly are remote, but most of them are hybrid. I mean, during COVID, I would say 90% are remote. But right now it's hybrid wherein they require 1 or 2 days, but some of them are 1 day, in the office, and then 4 days you can do remote.
Okay, that sounds good. So hybrid. Some are. So are there some remote roles at all from your experience?
Thi- Oh, these two that you have in front of you are both remote, no?
Exactly.
These are
Exactly.
remote. And the
Yeah.
company that right, and the company that those two green beans that I just hired a couple of months back, they're basically remote. They are in Oshawa, Ontario, but the company is in Burlington, and it's fully remote.
Fantastic. Alicia says, where can you start as an entry level person?
So in terms of starting, normally what we assign newly grad from this particular field is we ask them to review an existing security policy. And what they will do is, so let me give you an example. So a security policy in terms of how to put up a new posting or a new hiring posting, right? because most of the time HR doesn't know what should not be included in the posting and what should be included. So, for instance, there's a situation wherein um, I wouldn't mention the actual name of the bank. They have a posting and they said, okay, your job would be in the area of Birchmount and Eglinton in Scarborough because that's where the data center of Scotiabank is. If there was a GRC analyst in that particular department, he would have she would have seen that as an issue because you're telling right now would be hackers, would be perpetrators where the crown jewel of Scotiabank is, and that's in that location. So normally a GRC analyst will get all of the existing policy and determine whether it is being followed or not, or if it needs improvement, like in my example, they're going to improve the policy document. And so that's the starting point for a lot of GRC analysts, just to get their feet wet, get to know what's the existing security policy, improve on the security policy, and then from there on, you move to a much higher responsibility, helping the company audit their existing control. And you learn on the job. Eventually, you'll get to a point wherein you are an expert on one area of cybersecurity, which is the GRC side.
Thank you, Danny. For those who are in the room, SkillHat offers a fantastic GRC training program to get you into these roles that pay 96 to 145K a year. We've helped lots of people do it. Danny, Eddie, our instructors have done this with many people, like the lawyers I showed you who are now GRC professionals and others. So we can make this happen for you. I put a link to book a call with me. I'm going to walk you through the program in detail just so we're clear, but I wanted Danny to answer some questions. So let's go back to the Q&A. Now, another question, Andre says, it looks like enterprise companies are looking for degrees regardless of experience. Danny, can you speak to whether that's true?
Well, those two green beans that I've hired, they don't have a bachelor's degree at all. They finish cybersecurity in another college for 2 years. It's just 2 years, so it's not a bachelor's degree. This is an area, folks, wherein what we look for is basically experience. So, for instance, you can have you could be a graduate of a bachelor's in administration, or you could be a graduate of, let's say, a 2-year accounting course, right? Accounting program. It does not matter. This is an area wherein you'll be looking at policies, you'll be drafting them, you're going to be talking with people in order to determine what are the risks within their department, and you're going to address them. So for the most part, having the bachelor's is just a placeholder, to be honest with you. If you have certain certifications, or you have in your resume like 5 years of team leadership experience or project management skills, that's basically a good foundation to enter this space. If you notice in any of those posting, it did not mention any specific technical skill, right? So this is more about organization, in terms of strategy, in terms of assessing the risk and coming up with controls to address those risks.
Thank you, Danny. The next question was, if you don't have experience, then what happens? You can talk about the managed internship and other things that may help them with the experience.
Right. Would you like me to be the one to discuss that, or is it part of your
Yes.
spiel later on, Mo?
I will bring it up, but since you're here, you can talk about, in general, people who don't have experience,
Right.
what do they do? And also how will an internship that we have help them?
Right. So essentially, the good thing about the Skill Hats program is that after they train you specifically on the fundamentals of what a GRC analyst should possess in terms of skill set, they will offer you a managed internship, which will form part of your cybersecurity GRC portfolio of experience that you can put on your LinkedIn, so that if there is a recruiter for that role, they would see that you have conducted actual GRC project in a real live setting, an actual company, if you will. So you're not coming in really green bean, if you will. you are already a practicing GRC analyst. And so internship really plays a big role if you're just coming fresh out of college or fresh out of a 2 year program or a 2 year diploma. The internship program that we offer definitely will supercharge your getting hired.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Danny. If you would like to stick around and answer more questions at the end, happy to have you stay. If you have to run, also happy to reconnect with you on another webinar again. So everyone, please, let's give Danny some support. He had a really busy day today. It's Sunday. He's a senior security professional. He came on this masterclass to be able to teach us. I'm sure you've learned a lot from him. So Danny, once again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, folks, and I hope to see you soon in one of our virtual classes. And I couldn't wait to actually help you land this job. And again, apologies for the video logistic nightmare. We'll try to perform better next time. Thank you so much, Mo.
Thank you so much, Danny. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is walk you through the big opportunity and exactly how we're going to get you from where you are to where you want to be. So if you're curious, you've seen the details on the security opportunity, why it's the top place to be in terms of positioning for the future, why GRC is a great place to get into in terms of not having to be super technical, but lead technical teams and protect companies. I'm going to walk you through how we're going to do that. Okay. So the big opportunity, as you've seen, is there's two. Number one, cyber attack protection. And since we've been here for about an hour, across the world, there have been at least 60 cyber attacks in the last 1 hour. A cyber attack happens every 39 seconds. We saw Danny talked about Amazon losing 746 million euros. Meta lost 1.3 billion euros in the fine. Equifax lost 1.7 billion in the cyber attack. These companies would rather pay you 6 figures a year to protect them as opposed to losing billions, as we saw. The second is that companies need to become more compliant with artificial intelligence and technology, because everyone, like right now, the data shows that 75% of businesses across the world plan to implement AI. 75%. 3 out of 4 companies across the whole world. And so that work will happen with or without you. But they have to do it in a compliant and secure way. You know, recently I went to my doctor to get a checkup. My doctor says to me, well, you look good. You're looking healthy. How's everything going? I said, I'm doing okay, but I got a few headaches here and there, etc. And I noticed she's not writing any notes, right? I looked at the side. She had an AI note taker that was taking notes for her and diagnosing what was happening with her patients in real time. Data shows that doctors are way more efficient diagnosing illnesses with AI. But that doctor had to have a cybersecurity GRC team to allow that technology to be used and keep the company secure across all the hospital branches. That was a big project. And so that's just an example of one project that I saw in my hospital where there's a GRC team, security teams ensuring that they can adopt AI technology, but in a secure way. So these are 2 big opportunities. If these 2 opportunities are clear and you want to take advantage of them, put a letter C in the chat. Let me know this is clear to you, the opportunity that exists right now. Put a C in the chat for me. All right. The next thing is, why is this a good career? As we've seen, there's a massive demand. There's not that many professionals. It's not saturated yet. The global vacancies right now, there are 3.5 million jobs in the market that there's no one to fill. 2, the salaries are pretty competitive. We saw 2 job postings from this morning alone, paying from $96K to $145K. The median salary right now is $102K. Now, the top earners, I'm going to show you Amazon's pay in the next slide, make $300K a year. I know people in cybersecurity making $500,000 a year, job stacking, doing multiple contracts. There's a guy I know, I forget his name. He has $1 million company writing contractors for security, which is what we're doing as well, right? So the money is there to be made if you can protect the companies, because the companies are making billions, right? Job security, this is a role that you will have job security because the growth rate of the demand is only going up. There's going to be more demand. Like I said, cybersecurity is the highest growing industry in the world. the highest growing role in the world, only after 2 roles, nursing and data science. And the fourth is that you can grow, like Danny said, you can grow from analyst to officer to manager to director to VP and CRO and CISO. So Danny, the instructor in our program, is a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. So there's a growth path, which is always great. Here's Amazon's pay, right? Directly from pay scale. As you see in the red column here, at a level 7, you can get paid $764,000 a year if you put in the time and the effort to go from level 1 to level 7 at an Amazon. Even a level 4, total comp $300K. Incredible opportunity, incredible numbers in security. So we talked about GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. I'm not going to go over this again. For those who are just joining, welcome. We're walking you through what you missed in the beginning is a presentation by the instructor at SkillHat, Danny, who's a CISO, a Chief Security Officer, on the GRC opportunity. Now I'm walking us through the program at SkillHat and how you can tap in to this 6-figure opportunity. So we're going to learn about aligning security with business goals, leading teams, the stakeholders in the team. So you're not going to be the one implementing and building firewalls and encryption, but you have to lead the team, right, based on business goals. So you have to understand what the business needs, your strategy, and lead that project. That's governance. Then we have risk, which is identifying where the company is exposed, third-party risk, right, vulnerability risk, etc. What can go wrong and how bad can it get? And then prioritize the risk and focus on addressing the major risks through project work. The third is compliance, making sure that the company is following the law. I recently learned that if you have a company, even if you're in the US, but you have one customer in Europe, you're now exposed to what's called GDPR, which is a European rule, which has a whole different framework for how you safeguard data. And so you're not meeting that. I mean, Meta got fined for $1.3 billion for not meeting GDPR, and so did Amazon, even though they're US companies. And so global companies need to follow the law. Healthcare companies need to be HIPAA compliant. And so just what that means for you as a professional is learning about these regulations. We're going to train you on these different regulations and going into a company as a consultant because you've been trained to ensure that they're following. And of course, regulations change over time as well. So your job is to continue to stay abreast of regulatory changes, and that is straightforward when you're in the community because we are all learning together. Whenever regulations change, we discuss them as a community. Okay, we talked about titles that you can have. You can work in any industry: healthcare, finance, retail, tech, government. You can work in governance focused roles. These are titles: GRC analyst, program manager. By the way, if you have a background in project management, business analysis, product management, these are all fantastic roles to transfer into security because of the program management skill sets that you're going to possess. Even skills like accounting is a great one because you're going to have the skills of being detail-oriented. Even teaching, right? Because if you can teach, you can learn, and you can lead teams, and you can implement new policies and changes. Policy management as well. Law. There's something for everybody in cybersecurity is what I've seen, right? If you want to be risk-focused, here are the titles. Audit focused, compliance focused. Okay. We have a fantastic team who will be teaching you cybersecurity here at SkillHat. You've all met Danny today, a CISO. We have Eddie. So our next webinar will be with Eddie. Eddie is also a CRO, a Chief Risk Officer. These are all very senior professionals. Eddie, the instructor, has in his whole organization, he's a Chief Risk Officer at Sandbox, a top insurance company. He has VPs reporting to him. Those VPs have directors reporting to them. Those directors have managers reporting to them. And those managers have teams reporting into them. And then Eddie is the head. So I'm just showing you the level at which your instructors will be at, senior folks. And then once you've done the training, you will then be handed off to Joan, lady on the bottom, Joan Unwosu, who is your mentor, who will work with you one-on-one to ensure that you are ready for the job. Now, don't just take my word for it. Here's some fantastic testimonials. This is from Uba, who says, Eddie is an exceptional teacher and mentor, simplifying complex security concepts, right? We have another one saying, I'm honored to share my experience having you as a mentor. And then we just heard Danny speak. As you can see, he's not the tallest man in the room. But here's some feedback on Danny's work from Raj, who is now an AWS, Amazon Web Services architect and cybersecurity professional, where he talked about when he joined Danny's course, he was eager and uncertain, but Danny not only guided him through the complexities, but became a mentor and a friend. You're going to be getting some incredible mentors to work with. Now, here is how we make it possible for you. Here's our first step process that we've used to help our alumni community get to $20 million a year. That number is an incredible number. I see it all the time because we track our alumni salaries. When we hit 20 million, I couldn't believe it. We started from zero. We've helped over 200 people land 100K jobs, and that's the ones that we even know. How we do this is, first of all, through the skills. Learn the skills and tools for the job, the technical skills, the soft skills, the tools. You heard Danny talk about Zen GRC, which is an automation tool that automates the security process. You're going to learn and then get certified. As we also saw, the top certifications that pay the most across the world are GRC security certifications. Then the second thing we're going to solve for you is the hands-on experience. And I'll break that down for you. We're going to put you in an internship working with a startup to actually get the experience, right? Because let me ask you guys a question if you're in the room. Please hear me out. If you had a leaky toilet, right? It was nasty leaking, and you could pick one of two plumbers to fix it, plumber A and plumber B. Now, plumber A went to Harvard of plumbing. He watched 100 YouTube videos and he has a degree in plumbing, but he's never actually fixed a real toilet for a real customer. Now, plumber B is your other choice. Plumber B didn't go to school for plumbing at all, but instead he worked as a master apprentice. He worked as an apprentice under a master plumber. And in that time, he fixed 10 toilets on your street. Who would you go with? A or B? Put it in the chat. Would you go with plumber A or plumber B? Okay, there's delay, so it might take you all a while to hear me. But as soon as you hear it, let me know. Who would you go with, A or B? I'm seeing in the chat lots of folks saying B. Erica says B. Why? Why would you go with plumber B, even though plumber A went to the Harvard of plumbing? Why is that? Well, the reason is because employers want you to come with some experience, because they want you to come into the organization and hit the ground running and reduce mistakes. And so we're going to help you solve the experience problem, right? I go to interviews all the time, and you might say, I mean, interviews, they say, I'm not getting the job because I don't want experience, but then that's why I'm coming for the job, to get the experience, right? We're going to solve that for you, and I'll show you how. The third gap we're going to solve for you is the marketability gap, becoming marketable. Marketability comes from a few things. One, your resume. Two, your LinkedIn profile. Three, your interview skills. And then four, even being aware of the roles you qualify for, or the roles you can apply to. And so we're going to help you become the most marketable person, whereby you have a resume so good that almost any employer sees it, they say, oh yeah, when can you come in for an interview? And then you interview so well that before you even drive off the building, they call you back and say, hey, can you come back up? We want to give you the offer. Now that's happened before at Steelhead numerous times. We had Shade Reed, one of our alumni, who interviewed with a company. Lucky enough for her, the case study that she was provided to solve was the exact same case study that we did in class at Skillhat. So it was like easy peasy for her because she solved the case. It was a business case. She solved it in like 20 minutes because she did the exact same case in class. Somehow it was the same thing. As soon as she started driving, they called her back and they said, hey, can you just turn around? We want to give you the offer. Just come back. Incredible story. And that's from having marketability. Even your LinkedIn, every day I wake up personally, my LinkedIn is flooded with people saying, I want to give you money. I want you to come work at our company. We have this contract. You want to have a LinkedIn so good that not only are you applying to jobs and converting with it, but jobs are applying to you. And that is possible with marketability. The fourth is a network. You want to have a network of high value professionals, mentors, colleagues, senior professionals, people who could be your boss in your network, giving you details on what you might need to do next in your career, but also people who are currently in top companies who can refer you, give you references, for example, because there is a hidden job market. Only 30% of jobs that exist are actually even posted. So if there's 10 million jobs in the market today, only 3 million are posted. 7 million are not even posted at all. So to access that is through networking. So here's how our program works. Okay, this is what you want to pay attention to. Here's how you go from where you are today to becoming a 6-figure security analyst, even if you have no experience and no technical background. So pay attention. The first is the GRC course taught by Danny, who you heard today, and Eddie, C-level executives, where you learn about the regulatory landscape, risk assessment, compliance, information security management systems, and GRC technologies. This program is on Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a 12-week program. It goes very deep, and 3 months of intense work to really learn the skills. Okay, we go through all the technical tools as well and prepare you to become certified. Okay, now once you're done with the course, this is a fully remote course. It's fully online. We will have some local meetups in the Toronto area, but the course is fully remote through Zoom and other technologies. And when you're done with that, that solves the skills gap, and we encourage you to go get certified. The next thing is the managed internship. This is one of my favorite parts of the program. We have an incredible team of recruiters, Davis, Mei Ying. They're working tirelessly to onboard employers. I saw the list of employers that they've onboarded already. I was very impressed. We just placed Jasmine in the managed internship. She came in for an internship. Within a week, she was placed. I was very impressed. And she's starting a job in 2 weeks. Now, for those who don't understand the value and the power of this can set your life apart, because one of the biggest gaps people face in making a transition from a boot camp is they have the skills, but they don't have the confidence because they haven't done it. And they also don't have the stories to tell in job interviews for high paying jobs. So what we're going to do, we're going to solve that problem for you by putting you into an 8-week hands-on internship with a thriving tech company. So through the 8 weeks, you will actually get to work part-time. This is not a full-time thing. This is a part-time thing, working part-time evenings and weekends with a thriving tech company to help them improve their security. Now, through the process, you will get some support as well from Jones' team, where you have live coaching calls and one-on-one calls to enable you effectively execute in the internship and get the most value. Now, we screen these companies. This is not any kind of random businesses. You're going to be working with top companies who have a dedicated manager you report to, a dedicated team, a security team, and a dedicated project to work on. When I was young, I interned at a company. I wasn't doing shit. I was just drinking coffee and reading. I did one or two things. We're not going to do that here. You're going to be put into companies that have mission critical work that they're looking to support you to get into, and a manager. Okay. And once you've done that, the third step is coaching to become marketable. This is where you work with the one-on-one coach to help you figure out, one, what is the right role for you? Is it compliance focused? Is it audit focused? Is it risk focused? And then create a resume with you that showcases your transferable skills from wherever you're coming from, and the internship and the skills course to ensure your resume is attracting employers. And once that's done, we're going to work with you on your LinkedIn profile, because like I told you, LinkedIn is where jobs can actually apply to you so that you're getting a lot of hits. We're also going to train you on content and storytelling if you wanted to, whereby you can post content on LinkedIn in terms of showcasing your expertise that attracts employers to you, right? A lot of you here know me from LinkedIn. A lot of you are watching me on LinkedIn right now, right? The skill sets that we have in our team that helps us generate high quality content that creates authority, you will learn from us. And then we're going to do interview prep, role play, where we're going to put you in a room and simulate the interview process and ask you questions you can expect in the job interview. Okay. And also hear your answers, write down what your answers were, and give you a much improved script that answer the exact way the employers want to hear. If that's not enough, we're going to also apply to your first 100 jobs for you using our AI tool, which is going to save you so much time and effort. That way you can focus on just going into interviews. Because to be honest, I hate sitting down, applying for jobs. I have my resume, I put it in, then they say, oh, by the way, take out every single word in your resume, put it in this form. I freaking hate that. Well, guess what? We have AI now that does that work for us. So you're going to have an AI tool that will apply to your first 100 jobs, and you can keep subscribing to that every single month for 100 more jobs. And that helps quite a lot. So now you're focused on networking and learning and focused on interviewing versus focusing on applying for jobs manually. Okay. Now, once you solve the gap of the skill gap through the course, the experience gap through the managed internship, and the marketability gap through the six-figure navigator coaching, you will also have a chance to network. We had a networking event yesterday in the Skill Hack community in person in Toronto. We're having a few more. We're having one in Houston, Texas in May, and we're having more in the Toronto area in July as well. So we have lots of virtual and in-person networking events. You can network with alumni who are crushing it in their careers today, the mentors and hiring managers. And that's our 4-step program for success. Now, once you land your job, we're not going to stop supporting you. We're going to move you to another program, 7-figure boardroom, which is our program to help you ascend into leadership and do better in your job. Deliver, lead, and grow. 7-figure boardroom, incredible program. No one knows about that program. Only it's a secret program for those who are in 6-figure jobs and want to grow. We're going to move you into that program once you have now landed your first job. Okay, a bit more about the internship. You're going to be placed in a U.S. or Canadian company in any of these industries in healthcare, tech, SaaS, remote work mostly, also hybrid. This is an unpaid internship, let's just be clear, where you're focused on building out the skills part-time for 8 to 12 weeks. Okay, now, who is this program for? Who is the Skill Hat program for? I'm almost done. I'll take some more questions. This is for people who are completely new to cybersecurity. If you're like brand new, coming from accounting, coming from sales, this provides you a structured step-by-step path to become job ready in security GRC. If you already work in tech, maybe you're a project manager or a developer or a cloud engineer, and you want to pivot or learn skills in governance, risk, and compliance, this is for you as well. Okay. Now, if you're looking for a high growth, in demand career in cybersecurity GRC, and you want real world training, no BS, what's happening in the industry right now? What are you doing day to day? Talk to the instructor who is a professional, and you want that mentorship to make your success a lot faster. You don't want to waste time. This is for you. Okay. Now, who is this not for? If you are looking for a get rich quick thing, I'm telling you, this is not get rich. This is a lot of work. You will have to learn a lot of skills, a lot of frameworks, a lot of policies, a lot of tools. You will have to apply for jobs with our AI tool. You will have to craft a resume with our coaches. You're going to have to go into interviews and interview and wow employers. You're going to have to prep for that. You're going to have to go into an internship. Well, not have to. Just let me be clear. You can choose to go through the course alone without the internship. In fact, you can go through the internship alone. If you've been trained in a different organization somewhere and you just want to get an internship, a managed internship with coaching to be successful, you can do that through us as well, right? So just wanted to be clear on that. But you have to do the work. I've had a guy hit me up, says, hey, Mo, I want to break into tech. Right now I work in construction. Just get me a job and do the job for me and I'll pay you half my salary. I don't want to do any work. I said, hey, if I could do that, I would, but I don't. Actually, I wouldn't. That's not how we work. You have to do the work yourself. We don't teach you. We don't just give you fish. We teach you how to fish. Okay. Now, your next step is to register. If you want to learn more about the program, you can do two things. One, you can go to the website, learn all about the program, and purchase the program. I'll walk you through the pricing right now. Or if you want to learn more and figure out if this is a good fit for you, you have some more questions, you can book a one-on-one call with me and my team right now. My colleague, Sam, let's see if Sam is in the room. My colleague and myself, is Sam in the room? He's not in the room yet. My colleague and myself, Sam, will be here for the next few hours after this call to speak with you one-on-one and help you process your enrollment if you'd like to. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. The link will drive you to, so it's skillhat.ca/cybersecurity. That's skillhat.ca/cybersecurity. And then you can learn more about the program and enroll. Our upcoming cohort is on May 31st. We're starting on May 31st of this year. So in about just over a month. It's going to come by real quick. And we have some great incentives on our payment plans and pricing now where you can get an early bird pricing. The program will be starting in May. By May, you're going to have to get full price. And the price is actually going up, just so we're clear. So I'll walk you through the pricing in some more details shortly. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Now, if you are on Instagram and you want to book a call, just comment the word book and you're going to get an automated link from my team to book a call. Okay. If you are on Instagram, just comment the word book to book a call. If you are on YouTube or LinkedIn, I will put a link in the chat. It's skillhat.ca/cybersecurity to learn more about the program and book a call. Okay. Now, before I continue, I'll leave this on screen to show the success mindset. You have to have a growth mindset, be detail-oriented, have great communication skills, and a problem-solving attitude, or be willing to get into this mindset. And also, anyone, whether you're in HR, finance, legal, operations, can get into cybersecurity. Okay, so I've talked about who we are. We're a top tech bootcamp launched from Toronto, Canada, now working with across the US and Europe. We are an award-winning company at SkillHat. Our numbers are just incredible. We train over 1,000 people. The average person in our program will increase your income by 45K. So if you come in at 60K into SkillHat, you're leaving at 105. If you come in at 100K, you're leaving at 145. Some faces here, my guy Lola, he is now a business systems analyst with Moneris. When he came in, he was a sound engineer, was a musician. Now he's a business analyst, right? Kamal, now a project manager, right? A lot of faces who took the program and are now crushing it. We got an award. We're an award-winning team. This is the award we won last year as the Black Product Innovators of the Year. This is me getting the award. I love showing this because our work is not being recognized by the top bank in Canada and one of the tops in the US. So here's where you are right now. You may be unhappy. You may be looking to become a leader in security and technology. The steps to landing a high-paying six-figure role as a cybersecurity analyst, first is our 12-week GRC training course, very intense course, 3 months of learning. Then a managed internship where you get to work and intern with a top tech startup to apply the skills and build the experience. And then coaching to leverage the skills, the experience to become marketable through your resume, through your LinkedIn, through your interview skills. And then that is how we help you land that six-figure job. Let's compare the SkillHat program with other programs. You can do self-learning. You can actually absolutely go do self-learning. But the data shows that, first of all, you probably won't even finish the course, right? Only 10% of those who do self-learning on Udemy and YouTube actually finish these courses. And it's not always so structured. So that's one option. And it's actually pretty cheap. You can start there if you want. Or you can go do a university course, which does have good quality. But the problem with universities and colleges in terms of employability is that that's not their focus. Their focus is on, we want to just teach you the skills and you got to go figure it out by yourself in terms of getting a job. And so we've had people who take programs at universities, they take master's programs in project management, they take training in security, and they come back to SkillHat because we're very focused on employability. For us, your success is when you get a job or increase your income. And the challenge with school, university is that it's typically long. It's like a year or 2 years, right? And it's more expensive. You can expect to pay $11K, $20,000 or more. Now, here's the SkillHat way. Excellent material, top instructors who are the best in the world, C-level executives at Amazon, EA Sports, Sandbox Mutual Insurance. Very high alumni success rate, brilliant community of alumni who are hungry. And our pricing is much lower. And this is about our price. Our price for our program is about $5,000 for the SkillHat GRC program. For those who are asking about the price, it's about $5K. Let me break it down for you. 3-part program. The first is the GRC training program. That is $3,500. That's the first part. The second part is the internship. So if you wanted to come for either one of these, if you want to just get the GRC technical training, $3,500. If you're saying I've been trained somewhere else, I just want to get a managed internship and a coach so I can improve my hands-on experience, also $3,500. And if you just wanted career coaching, you just want myself to coach you for interviews, help you with your resume, and help you crush it in your roles, $1,300. And all that together is a value of $8,300. But here's the best part. You get a bundle discount. If you go through everything, you get it at $2,600 off, and your total price today is $5,700 for the Skill Hat cybersecurity programs. There we go. So I'm going to leave it here, and once again, encourage you to book a one-on-one call with me at I will grab the link for the one-on-one call. Let's get that link for you guys. So you're gonna go to skillhat.ca/cybersecurity, and you're gonna see a link to book a free call. I'm gonna put that in the chat. It's right here. All right. I encourage you to book that call. Now, for those of us who are wondering if we have payment plans, the answer is yes. Most people pay up front, but you have an opportunity to pay in installments. If you want to pay in installments, just book that call and we can help figure out the right installment plan for you. Okay. Most people pay up front through credit card or e-transfer, but we have opportunities to pay in installments. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you're in Europe, different currencies, we can help you with that as well. Okay. Now, if you also feel like you want to refer a friend, it's fun to learn with a friend. You can refer a friend and you will get $200 whenever they join any Skill Hat program, such as our project management program, our product management program, our GRC program, web development, any program, you get $200 when they join. So to do that, all you have to do is go to skillhat.ca/refer-a-friend. If you can see my link, I'll put that in the chat as well. All you have to do is put your friend's name, program, and your name, and then how you want to get paid. And once they enroll, you get paid for referring your community. Okay. All right. Now, I want to just ask you one more thing, guys. What's the cost of doing nothing? So how would you feel if the next 2 years of your life are like the last 2 years? Would you be happy or would you feel disappointed? That's my first question. Second question is, if you continue with the steps that you've been taking right now in the last 3 months, will the next 2 years be the same, or will the next 2 years change for the better or for the worse? Right? Meaning that if you think that I won't be happy if my next 2 years are like my last 2 years, and if I keep doing what I'm doing now, if nothing will change, you have to make a change. And so if you believe that solving the 4 gaps of the skills, the marketability, the hands-on experience, and the network will help you become successful, I encourage you to work with us at Skill Hat. So once again, register at skillhat.ca/cybersecurity. That's skillhat.ca/cybersecurity, or book a call with me. Comment book on Instagram. And by the way, you get the AI tool that applies for jobs for you for free when you're enrolled with Skill Hat. So these are your next steps. Book a call or enroll. All right, with that being said, I want to say it's time to answer some more questions. I see some questions in the chat, so let's go. The first is from JW. So JW, shout out to you. You've asked a lot of great questions today. First question, job stacking, is that the same as being overemployed? Will Skill Hat teach or guide you on how to do the same? Is being overemployed acceptable in Canada? Okay, so the answer is yes. Overemployed is the same thing as job stacking. What that just means is that you have multiple contracts, 2 contracts typically, maybe more than 2, maybe 3, where you work for different companies. You have to ensure when you're signing your contract, that's allowed. You don't want to sign a contract that says you cannot do contract work for other employers. That's the first thing, the contracting. In terms of the legal contract you sign. Are we going to help you with that? The answer is, if you get multiple offers, we can help you ensure the wording in the contract allows you to do that without penalty. So the answer is yes, we can help you with that. We have a lot of our alumni who are doing that. And, Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, he's the CEO of Tesla, of SpaceX, and he's overemployed. If Elon Musk can do it, you can do it too. All right. Princess asks, And all of these processes Skillhat takes you through is for a new graduate or someone transitioning from one role, say accounting. So the process is the same regardless of where you're coming from. We believe the 4 gaps you have to fill are the same: skills gap, the hands-on experience gap, the marketability gap, and the network gap. We solve for all 4 gaps. Now, if you come to me and you say, I already have the skills, I just need the experience and marketability, then we put you in the right program. So I recommend you book a call, and then we book a call. We have a call, me and you. We'll figure out what's your background, what's your current skill set, where do you want to go, and what have you done so far? And then we can assess the exact roadmap and plan for you, Princess, and everybody else. Okay, JW says, if I don't do the internship, can we teach you how to leverage your past skills? The answer is yes, right? So you don't have to do the internship if you don't have the capacity. You will be trained on how to use your existing background. Maybe you come from accounting. How can you tell the story of your accounting experience to a new employer that puts you in a good light to have them hire you as a security professional? Okay. Anamdi says, how can I migrate from biology to cybersecurity? Great question, my man. Nadozi, sorry. It's the same 4 gaps. We are all about the 4 gap method. Solving the same 4 gaps will help you solve that problem. First, you got to learn the skills. I'm going to show my screen again, right? It starts with the skills. You got to learn the skills first through training. You can't skip that. Once you learn the skills, you get certified. And once you've done that, you get the hands-on experience. You have to go do the work before the job. So that could be an internship, which we have a program called the Managed Internship. That could be working for free at church or mosque, or even where you work right now. Maybe you're working in a hospital right now. Can you help them become more secure, right? And then third is how you market yourself, your storytelling. And then last is your network, okay? JW says, do we have those who are successful that you can reach out to? Absolutely. Once you book a call with me and you want to talk to one of our alumni, we can make that connection happen. Absolutely. Okay. Is there an age requirement? The answer is no. Okay. We don't discriminate by age, and neither do top companies. So any age you are, young, old, you can definitely start learning the skills today. Okay. All right. Any other questions? If we got value from today, put a letter V in the chat for me. If today's session was valuable for you and you learned something, put a V in the chat for me. I want to know this was helpful for you. Okay. Another question. Are the job cuts in Canada, for example, affected? The job cuts, jobs are always going to go up and down. What you want to look at is a career that's stable, that's growing. Okay. Right now, the truth is that cybersecurity has not been affected by the job cuts, because we're seeing is the opposite. There's actually more demand for security professionals than there's people who have the skills. So this is a great place to get in right now. Get in right now. Learn the skills right now, because the longer you wait, the more these jobs will actually be filled that exist, right? So cyber is an area that has not seen the same impact of the layoffs compared to other roles. Okay. All right. So with that being said, we're at the end of today's session. Thank you all for joining. I want to see you book a call with me right now. Let's have that conversation. Even if you're not ready to move forward, just book a call. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to learn about you, because that helps me as well, right? I've given you my time today in the free masterclass, but I want to have a conversation with you to understand what's your background, what's your challenge in life, what's your blockers. We can remove that together. This is my service to you. So book a call with me. Randy says the internships are remote. So we place you in a remote internship with a US or Canadian company, typically a company in your own country. If you're in the US, it'll be a US company. If you're in Canada, it'll be a Canadian company. If you're remote in Europe, it'll probably be a US company. We don't have European employers as of today. Okay. Somebody asked, how is this different from Boyd? I'm not sure what that is, so I couldn't answer that. And with that being said, I want to say thank you all for joining today's masterclass. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to having you book a call. Go to skillhat.ca to learn more about our programs. And then once you hit up skillhat.ca, you just have to go to courses and go to cybersecurity to learn more about the program. You can register. Again, the program is $3,500 for the training alone, or $5,700 for the training, the internship, and everything else. By the way, when you buy the training alone, it comes with the coaching, but not the internship. If you want to learn more, just book a call with me. Let's have a conversation about where you are, how to get to where you want to go. All right. With that being said, thank you all. It's been a pleasure. Have a fantastic evening. God bless.